What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this compilation from Rashaann called Karma. Rashaann is a rapper coming out of Harlem, but currently working in Atlanta. And if you want to find out more about him and check out his music, all you got to do is take a look at the links down below. But what you're in for with this album is quite a bit of similar content, especially on that first half. Many of these songs deal with relationships, so there is some relatable content there if you're going through some relationships bullshit, or if you want to take a look at the past when you have gone through it. For example, you have Friend of Mine and Hourglass. Both of these tracks have excellent soulful production from Poetic Junior. I really like what he was doing on these beats. And again, Rashaann is exploring the ups and downs of relationships on these tracks. On the former, he's talking about a girl who he meets and then things just don't work out. And on the latter, the song Hourglass, he's trying to make things work with the girl before the time runs out. So that was one of my favorite tracks. I like that concept, the idea overall, and also the production on that one is some of my favorite. We get similar themes on Never Understand. This one once again deals with relationship struggles, including how financial issues can come into play, as well as how we can learn and grow from these failures. So he does have a pretty good pen game, I would say. He's good at outlining these things going on in relationships. He's got a lot of details in there as well, and that would certainly be one of his strong points. You might also notice the drop leaf rhythm on this track, which is a production that's been used on many other songs, including Young Girl by Collie Buddz and Ja Cure's What Am I Longing For. So that was a pretty interesting choice to make use of that beat, because I have heard it on a bunch of songs, and it is pretty dope. Now, another familiar beat pops up on the song The Root. This backdrop comes from Thievery Corporation's song Un Simple Histoire. Thievery Corporation is just dope, man. I think they're slept on, they're underrated. Check them out if you're looking for some worldly, groovy music that involves a lot of different sounds. And on this one, Rashaann is telling a story about how he was talking to this girl, and in the end, he ends up dodging a bullet by not getting with her because she had a STD. So there was a little bit of good storytelling on this one, and the second verse has him rapping about the various ills of the world, from greed to selfishness and beyond. That does kind of mix the content up a little bit, and that does add another layer to this project so that it's not all about the relationships. Moving on to the track Not Over, we get some more dope R&B laced production, once again from Poetic Junior. He did his damn thing on here, as Rashaann is dedicating each verse to people who he's had issues with. So in one verse he's talking to a friend who fell to the trap, another verse deals with a disloyal friend, and he also speaks on the last verse to his brother who he's been building a relationship with. I thought that was a pretty cool concept, and the song Proud of You has a similar theme to it, but in a bit more of a positive way as he's speaking to various people that he's proud of. You're also getting this very fun and uplifting production on here. So again, there is some pretty good production happening on this project, and if you want some soulful hip-hop that's kind of more traditional and giving you some content and concepts, I think you'll really enjoy this album. So he does have some quality subject matter and concepts, but I'd also say that this album doesn't have an overly unique flavor to it. His rapping is pretty straightforward, so there's nothing too adventurous with his flows, his rhyme schemes, or vocal styles, and while I do like the production, there weren't really any explosive moments or intriguing moments where I was like, oh shit, that's different, like I never heard that before, or getting me out of my seat, or getting me banging my head, jumping around, or anything like that. It's just good production, you know what I mean? It sounds good, I enjoy it, that's obviously a positive, but it wasn't giving me anything that was over the top, if you get where I'm coming from. Still pretty good though, and he does mix things up a little bit at times, like on Pace's Ferry. I would put this as my least favorite though, because it has twangy production, but I did like how he's rapping about trying to achieve his goals while using this rich community Pace's Ferry as somewhat of a top line, like where people are really succeeding and successful, you know, you want to get there. At least that's how I took it based on what I learned about Pace's Ferry. And on Random Thoughts Part 3 with John Lewis, I like this one because you're getting some social commentary from both MCs. I especially like Rashaann's verse because he's speaking on the importance of acknowledging systemic racism and all these other racial issues while also trying to move forward and do better for ourselves. So again, he does mix the content up a little bit there, but on that first half of the album, it does seem like you're kind of getting the similar stuff over and over. I also thought O.S.S. was a standout. You're getting some great features on here. This has Rashaann spitting about messing around with a married woman, which is pretty funny. Era had a nice line when he says, "She a rough rider, LOX. I hate to say I DM'd your ex." Those were some clever lines there. And you get a dope hook from Fennell, who has this laid-back flow, and John Lewis delivering a verse about gold diggers. So overall, this was a pretty solid posse cut. I did enjoy it, and I would give this album a light 6 out of 10. I almost went a little bit lower at like a 5.5 4.5 because the overall sound and style here is pretty average, but I do think there is some great content and subject matter to deal with, and that's something I always reward, man. I appreciate artists who can tell a story, who can detail how they're feeling, get into their emotions, all those things like that. I just think this would be even better if the mixing was a little bit better. The mixing isn't trash here by any means, but you can tell it's not like studio quality. A little bit better mixing would help lift things up a bit here. I also think just going a bit more creative with the flows and rhyme schemes would help too. And yeah, man, even fleshing the content out even more and bringing some more ideas in would make for an even better project. But as it is, this is pretty good. I think it's worth checking out. Nothing groundbreaking, so a 6 out of 10 feels fair to me. But you guys can give it a listen and then hit me up in the comment section with your thoughts. And of course, make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.